Right. Hello, everyone. I believe we are live now. Welcome to the another live session of Investing with the Difference. And today we have quite a few topics to start with. But first, with the introduction. So we are a group on Facebook, Investing with the Difference. You can search our page, which is a public community. Yeah, and then you can join our group, which is a closed group, but we are inviting people right now. We are open to join. We do a lot of altcoin trading and also suggest portfolios for crypto. Our goal is to help you invest in cryptocurrencies with the intention of making gains and be very informed about what you're doing. We are not into pure speculation. We look into learning about cryptocurrencies and why a certain investment makes sense. So some of these things we have done, like we had started the portfolio around 6 to 8 weeks back, and this is our portfolio, which has made some handsome gains. I would say that some of it is because of the market. We entered at the right time. We suggested people to buy into these coins. So today we will start with one of the topics which people had asked before, and that is how do you build up a portfolio. So while we do a lot of day trading and short-term gains in crypto, I want to first highlight the importance of having a portfolio which is very much aligned with your long-term goals. If you look at this, this is the portfolio we started with, and I just want to highlight and spend some time on it today. We recommended allocation. What does it mean? So this is your core holding, which means that you are going to, let's say, buy 55% of your dollar value should be invested in Bitcoin when you start. Again, this was at this in somewhere in March timeframe, and of course we can do another session. And if you have any questions, let us know. But I think Bitcoin and Ethereum, I still believe these should be your core holdings. We bought 15% of EOS because the EOS is one of the best upcoming blockchain, which can disrupt Ethereum, as well as it can be the leading distributed application platform. And this is where we believe, and we talk a lot in our group. We have a lot of videos on EOS, so please do watch them if you are new to the group. But why we allocated 15% was because it was $4, and today it's actually it has gone all the way to $23, but it is around $16 or $17 on April 30th. That's when we took the snapshot of this portfolio. And this has actually, because of the 300% growth, it has, and while Bitcoin has only grown 20%, if you started with us, it must have grown almost similar level as Bitcoin. That doesn't mean that today I'm suggesting you that you go and buy same amount of EOS as Bitcoin, because it's risky when a coin has gone up that much, even though it has all the potential. So we will do more discussions on what can you expect about EOS, what are the risks associated, and so on. But I think at this stage, I would say be careful, don't chase it. Do Everybody should own some EOS, and you can build a portfolio. But still, now also you should start with a smaller allocation, and I would still recommend Bitcoin is much more stable core holding. Remember, there are a lot of analysts who talk about, oh, cryptos will, you have to invest whatever you can lose. I don't really believe in that theory. Means I don't want to lose any money, and I'm not investing to so that it goes to zero. I really believe Bitcoin can continue growing. It has a lot of value to offer, but nobody knows the price. Nobody knows whether $10,000 is the right price or $100,000 is the right price. So there are a lot of theories going around that Bitcoin can go very high. I don't disagree, but I don't want to speculate. And our goal is to buy Bitcoin as a core holding. And we do altcoin trading, as if you are with us, and we will talk about the short-term trading later. So we are going to use Bitcoin to grow our holdings and keep saving this Bitcoin for long term. Same thing with Ethereum. It is a core holding as of now. We will keep monitoring. I think now it's almost $800. It's above our buy up to price. But again, I still believe that Bitcoin and Ethereum both can still be bought for a medium to long term. And at some stage, we will decide whether Ethereum is still a good buy. I don't. I think it has run up a lot, but I would still suggest buying a little if you are just starting. Again, same with the EOS, it has run up a lot, and we don't want you to chase it, but do buy small amounts and be ready to average out. I like Stellar, Neo in small amounts of your portfolio because these are very solid platforms. So Stellar is a platform to launch your uh, currency exchange programs, and a lot of interest is coming. IBM is partnering with them, and a lot of banks, and actually not even banks, actually some of the non-banking institutions are backing this because of the way they are structured. Similarly, Neo is a China-based blockchain platform. It's like a almost same as Ethereum, but they have much better model of how they pay dividends. They are actually already paying gas, and as the new tokens are launched, they keep paying some bonus tokens with Neo. Again, it is almost hitting above our buy up to price, but if the overall market goes up, it's not a bad entry. So if you're just starting, we still will keep telling you that you should buy only small amount and be ready to average out. Keep cash. Means Bitcoin is a safe place to keep your cash. If you want to be in cryptos, don't go overboard at this stage. If you're just starting, I would say keep 80% Bitcoin and start buying others. But I think if you have been with us, I'm sure if you see all other altcoins have done better, because the market, when it moves up, altcoins do much better than Bitcoin, because there is much more speculation, much more value in these smaller coins. So other coins, Ethereum Classic, I think it's a speculation. It's a small portion of our portfolio. The reason is there's a lot of hedge funds who are buying into it. Grayscale is really backing it up, and I expect a lot more money flowing into Ethereum Classic. Recently, one of the UK exchange has announced that you can directly buy Ethereum Classic with your fiat currency. So that is another positive for Ethereum Classic. So I see some backing and some promotions going on, and it is a good hedge to Ethereum, because Ethereum has a lot of challenges in scaling. Ethereum Classic is able to uh, provide a parallel platform which is working, and there are a lot of upgrades coming on the platform. Again, it is not my fundamental pick for long term. It's more like a short term play. But if it goes up, I think we will start using the profits to get into some other short term or long term portfolio picks. Gifto, I really love this because of the utility coin. It is amazing the way they are integrating with the live streaming platform. They are launching with the game tokens. They're launching their own games. So we do a lot of videos on this, and we will do some videos in future. But we do a lot of posts on our Facebook group, so you can learn about it more. So I think overall, this is more going to be like, my goal was to just highlight to you that this is our portfolio. This is independent of our short-term trading. So what I do personally is I pick up some part of this Bitcoin and Ethereum from my core holdings, and I do medium and short-term trades. And as you know, that we are making a lot of profits. So if you go down, we have made some huge profits in some of our trades. We very regularly make 5 to 10 or 15% profits. What I do is, whatever I borrow from my core portfolio, I put it back. Once those gains are made, I do not keep increasing my uh, short-term positions. Means you don't want to take too much risk trading on a daily basis, because this is how we manage risk. And again, if you're reading our so if you go down into our units section, which is where we have noted down the how we trade, it's very important you read our trading guidelines. So in our trading guidelines, we have very clearly said that you should only do a small portion. So let's say you have chosen 10% of your core holding of Bitcoin to be traded. Out of that 10%, you have to again break it down into 5 to 10 positions. So you can do parallel trades. So each trade is almost like 1% of your core holding. So you're using 10% of your core holdings to trade, and within that 10%, you're doing 10 pieces. That means you have divided the whole trading portfolio into 10 small positions. So you're only betting 1% on each position. So when you make gains, you're only making 0.1% gains in a way, because you're making 10% gains. But over time, when you double this, so you are making consistent gains in your core portfolio, while your core portfolio itself is growing. So this is the whole intention here, where how we are trying to do it. We don't want you to do too much of risk taking in short term portfolio, because even though we are making impressive gains, this is a recommended way of containing your risk if you are a long-term investor and you're trying to make sure that you're not going overboard. But of course, some people have made very good returns. They have put more than 10% of their BTC holding with in our trades. So that is up to you how much risk you want to take and how much you believe that it is a good time to keep trading and making money. But we keep stuffing our core holdings back, and it's not doing bad. Like even the core holdings, if the market goes up, as you see, we are making some handsome gains. And this is more of a sustainable model, and we will keep updating our core portfolio as we go along. So we have a question from Scott saying, who is building on ETC? So I would say at this moment, ETC is still under development as a platform. And my understanding is that people like Grayscale, just like Block One is lining up a lot of apps and a lot of funds for EOS. Grayscale is promoting ETC, and they are pretty big in the crypto world. They started the GBTC fund. They have started a lot more funds recently, and they have created a huge backing of venture capital as well as more funds. And they are continuing to promote ETC. It's not ready yet. ETC is still in an early stage of development. They're doing a lot of upgrades. It's again a speculation, I would say. So, in other words, I think, for lack of better words, most of these 5% part of our core portfolio, they are just more stable medium-term trades, I can say, rather than trading in and out. We're just keeping them in core portfolio, but I'm not suggesting that I will keep them in this core portfolio for more than 6 months or 1 year. I just want this whole story to play out, and so that we can benefit from this whole huge funds which are coming in. So, and one example is ETC is, as I said, the Grayscale has been really pushing for it. They also got some kind of support from UK funds and exchange, which is actually listing ETC as a direct buy opportunity in fiat currency. So those are the kind of things I'm targeting. I'm not really a big fan of ETC as a fundamental blockchain play. I'm more looking at it as a core holding because it has got very good backing, and it's an alternate platform for Ethereum. Because time to time Ethereum gets overloaded, and ETC uses that as an opportunity to market themselves. It's very similar to Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash is nothing great going for them, other than a lot of VCs are behind them. Roger Ver is really promoting it a lot. And again, they always utilize this whenever there is a problem with Bitcoin in terms of transaction fees, in terms of how crowded or congested the network is. That's when they start bloating this. Bitcoin Cash becomes even bigger and bigger as we go along. So it's very similar play here. So this is I think we went quite long on this, but my intention was to just make sure that everybody understands the portfolio, how we are playing. When we say core portfolio, remember this while because the day trading, we are making a lot of posts, we are updating every day, and you feel like you have to you feel like that you need to put all your money into day trading. So make sure that you are doing position sizing. Make sure that, like, if you lose one position, you are not really making a big impact on your portfolio. But if you slowly gain in your day-to-day day trading, you're adding into your core portfolio. And that's how we want to play it. Let us now move to the Bitcoin price. And this is something which I really like. So now, I think if you're watching these videos, you are already aware. I've been tracking this channels 9800 as a resistance line, and at the lower end 8600 to 8800 as my support line. And actually, more than this line, it's the blue line, which is the exponential moving average, which has given us very good support. So let me not repeat what we have been talking about. Let me directly jump into 15-minute chart. So what happened is we had this double bottom, so double top. Let me go back a little more. So 15 minutes is too much. Maybe let's go to 1 hour. So yeah, this shows better. So we had a double top here, and we were falling from there. But then yesterday we had some kind of a bull trap forming. It broke out. It was looking like it will go and test 10K, but they did it twice, but it fell back down below that channel. So I would still call it a very strong resistance at 9800. But if you look at it, the previous time when we hit this resistance, we fell very fast. This time we are consolidating, and we are taking support around previous high, which is around 9500, which I already mentioned previously in the videos. So I would say if we continue taking support at 9500, we have a very good chance of breaking this 9800 again, because as we keep hitting this resistance gets weaker and weaker, because there's a lot of selling pressure here, and the sellers exhaust their orders. And there's a huge sell wall I have investigated on multiple exchanges, and I looked at it wherever I am trading or where I'm looking at. I see a huge sell wall all the time near 10,000. So that has to be absorbed. It may take time, and it's very healthy if we spend time here. The important thing is that we should not drop too much below 9500, which can create a weakness again and a lot more orders piling up in this zone. So at least this moment we are eating into these sell orders. There's a lot of what I'm hearing is that there's a lot of institutional interest coming in, and that also will make it very very good timing if we break 10k and there's a lot more buying coming from institutions. So I think we should, as I've said before a few times, we will definitely going to go and break. If we go from 10,000, we should all go all the way to 11,750. That's my goal, and it will be very fast whenever that happens. So again, means of course I cannot say. People keep asking whether it's the right time to buy Bitcoin, and I keep saying that it's never a bad time to buy Bitcoin if you are willing to trade it and grow it. Buy it slow. Don't go all aboard, like you just don't put a huge chunk of money in one go. And then that is a risky thing, because then you should be able to go and see another 10% drop. You should not feel like you missed out on buying at lower levels. So this is the Bitcoin price. Again, I think this is my futures trading uh, chart. As I said, there have been few breakouts at a lower level. It's very similar. I do very simple trend line based trading, which anybody can understand. There is no great indicators needed. If you see here, whenever we see a breakouts on these trend lines, we get a big move, and this is something which you can play if you are very very disciplined about how you take risks and how you control the risks. And so this gives you a big move, and then you consolidate. This is where right now I'm in a no trading zone. So I'm not really trading Bitcoin on futures. I wait for these big moves and be very disciplined about how much risk I take, and not really get too greedy. Because these things are very, like, I've still not. So people are asking me whether I will issue some like ways of trading Bitcoin on futures, and like similar to what we are doing as a day trading. Today I'm still doing it. I'm sometimes my trades go totally wrong and they are liquidated, and that's something I don't want to recommend at this stage if you're not ready to take big losses. So I'm still learning how to control risk. I have done a lot of risk management in my stocks, options, and futures. Those principles are not really applicable because of the volatility in this world. So I'm still experimenting. I've made some good trades and I'm happy with them, but overall, it's a lot of times when I lose my capital, and sometimes I have to just add a lot of margin. So I'm still waiting for creative. So I'll give you one example of why it's risky. So this is one big candle. This is a 15-minute chart. Let's say if you're in this position, and it was a bull trap. So it broke out of double top, and even if I add a lot of margin, so this is like $9,364, which this is where this candle took us. So thankfully, I was still waiting and I didn't enter this trade. This breakout was actually a very good sign. And I thought maybe I'll wait for 10K and I will miss out on this move rather than getting trapped. And that is exactly what happened. And if I had done the same thing, if I had got the same problem in this breakout, and if I had a similar bull trap here, I actually traded this, I would have wiped out the whole margin, even though I kept a very deep stop loss, because this was a very volatile move. So Bitcoin price did not really move that much. Bitcoin price moved only a couple of $100 or $300, but futures market, some big guy dumped all his futures, and momentarily it wiped out all the longs. And it went all the way to 93.52. So this is the risks I still don't know how to manage. This is what is very common. If you see, these are some big spikes you see on the downside. this is the risk which it's very difficult to capture unless you're willing to go very deep in your stop losses, and that would mean you are even risking more. Yeah, because you have to keep adding margin if you want to protect yourself to these kind of spikes. And if you do that, there is no guarantee that this spike will not be even bigger, and that would mean that you clean up like 10 to 20, 12x of your position. So you can actually lose, if you add margin, you can lose more than 100%, you can lose 500%, 800% of your original margin, because that's the only way I'm able to keep my positions open, by keep adding more margin than what is required for 100x leverage. So this is just in case you're interested in futures. Of course, not everybody should do it, and I would not recommend this unless this is really the money which you should be ready to lose, because this is very common to lose 100% or more of your holding in these positions. And if you're still interested, this is my BitMex account. So currently I'm trading Litecoin and Cardano. So they right now they offer Bitcoin, Cardano, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Ripple and Litecoin. So this interface just for people who are interested. You choose your position, you choose your limit price, and this is the scale. Like they offer you. So on Litecoin they offer 33x. On Bitcoin, if we click, they are offering up to 100x leverage. That means if it moves by 1%, you make 100% gains. So again, you can slide the scale. It like if you make it like 50, 10x, 25x, you can choose any amount of leverage, but that defines your margin, how much margin you need for each trade position. And what I typically do is I always play 100x, but I add margin. So that way, what I'm doing is I'm trying to reduce my risk by not getting liquidated so quickly, because I believe in the overall long-term direction. But if you're wrong on long-term direction, whatever extra margin you're adding, that gets wiped out. So, for example, right now in Litecoin, I have added. If I just open 33x position, usually my liquidation price is very close to this entry price, because you're talking about only 3% down move to wipe out your 33, because you are 33 times leveraged. Within 3% down move, you lose all your margin, you lose 100%. So usually your mark price, your liquidation price will be only 3% below 1766, which was my entry. But I added enough margin to so that I don't get wiped out, to so that my liquidation price go all the way down to 1582. And this is one way I avoid liquidation. But I'm still 33x leveraged, because even though I'm adding more margin, I still want to enjoy the benefits if the move is going up. So see, I have only gained maybe less than 1%. So the current mark price is 1778, and I have only gained actually less than 1%. But my market profits are 20 to 22% on this position. Similarly, on Cardano, my gain is like maybe, so this is 20x. So Cardano, they only provide 20x as maximum because it's more volatile. So they're not offering more than 20x. And that my 2% gain is actually showing me 40% gains here. So this is leverage trading, because some people were interested. I wanted to show it, how it's working. It's very risky, as I said. So only try once you learn it fully, and you have to lose a few times. It's very difficult for me to do a session and teach you how to do this leverage trading, because there are a lot of lessons you learn by really playing it out. And so try with a very, very small amounts. Don't go big. And I really love Bitcoin leverage trading. So once we are out of this indecision zone, I would definitely try to take a position. I think it's good opportunity for people who are able to understand it, and who are able to make these leverage trades. You can really make big gains, but it's risky, and you have to be very careful on that. All right, so this is on the Bitcoin. Let's see if there are any other questions. Feel free to ask me here. One thing I wanted to talk about today is EOS, and what is happening in the EOS world. So let's go and open up the EOS chart. A lot of people are having this fear of missing out on EOS, and they're like buying in right now in big amounts. I think one of the analysts which I subscribe to and a lot of people subscribe to, and he charges a lot of money. He has just said that you can buy EOS all the way up to $25. Now, I would like to question that in the sense that EOS is way above its recent averages, the 200-day moving averages, and so on. And this last time when it happened, see, we were, of course, this chart is, they don't have data for all this, but it was a very similar move here. And this went down from all the way up from 16. This is a logarithmic chart, by the way. So you need to take it into context. This is a logarithmic chart, and we went down from $16, $17 to $4. Now, while I believe in it, while all of us in our group, we really say that EOS is the greatest project we have seen, as a trader, you need to understand the risks. And as an investor, you need to understand that you are entering a coin which has gone from $4 to $23 in a very short time. And you should be able to accept the risks. Now, why I see the current level as a good trading entry and the possibility for it to go up, we did issue a short-term trade alert because it's taking good support, and it is around the last highs, which is around $16, $17. And there are a lot of things happening. So if you're following our posts, so there are a lot of activity on EOS. I love this site. So if you understand enough about EOS, so there are block producers which are getting ready. They just got to that 121 block producers which are needed to launch EOS. Then there are a lot of activities. EOS Go is my site. So if you're interested into the technical details, what is happening in the block producer world, you should go there. And they are maintaining a repository of all the EOS block producer candidate documents, what is happening. They have also launched a few Telegram groups, and a lot of activities happening here. Now, what I wanted to discuss is, this is a technical project which is just starting. So while all the hype is there and we have gone all the way up, we all believe in it. In short term, there can be risks. There can be hurdles, like maybe the network will have some issues. There will be some, there are a lot of attacks which usually come along when there is a hyped up network is launched. A lot of hackers will be ready to make their names, because if they are able to disrupt EOS, people will identify them as the hacker who did that. And so there's a lot of things. There are a lot of course, if you go by conspiracy theories, there can be competition. There are at least 50 or 100 blockchains which are in competition with EOS, and they can try to sponsor these hackers. That is a conspiracy theory. I don't want to get into that. But as an individual hacker, also there's a lot of things to at stake. If you're a hacker who wants to earn a name, if you disrupt a $20 billion market cap blockchain, there is a lot at play. You can make a name for yourself, and you can be really rich in near future just by quoting that you were the one who did that. So this is very common. It happens. So be careful. Be ready for that negative news flow. On the other hand, EOS is very unique that it is one of the blockchains which is launching with a lot of support from other like other applications, DApps, and those people are actually have held on to, like, we got the airdrop. We have done a video on what are the airdrops coming. There are a lot of new airdrops every day being announced. So that is keeping the news flow positive. But also, there are a lot of good quality projects they have announced, and they are saying that they will take the snapshot on 1st June, which is when the ERC20 tokens are frozen. And that will maybe keep this selling pressure from not going that high, like a lot of people will not exit. But I still believe towards end of May, people don't understand it. There are a lot of people who still don't know what is the value of EOS, and they are just in for this big spike and trading it. They may dump it. So now we need to watch out. It may go up before end of May because of all the hype around it, and we are hoping for that, because definitely there will be a kind of a drop near end of May. So we need to see if it can take support here and maybe make another run at higher levels before it drops. So that is my which I'm very closely monitoring, because as I said, EOS is one of my big portfolio positions. So this is what I followed this portfolio allocations. It was 15%, but it has grown big on me now because it has gone up big time. So it's almost 40% of my portfolio, and I'm really interested in what happens on the price. So that is one thing I wanted to highlight, because today we are talking about portfolio, about investing. So I hope this is useful. Um, I think we don't have a lot of time. I may need to wrap up quickly. I will take a few questions if you're watching, and if you have some interesting things to discuss about portfolio, about these projects we talked about. I will do a separate video maybe on EOS itself, because that is something which we want to talk about on a daily basis now that we are close to launch. And that's I think. And then overall, what is happening in crypto world, I would say that is something you need to keep track of. So let me highlight a few things which happened. One is that there is a lot of interest coming from hedge funds, and let me see if I can pull out some of the interesting news. Okay, it's difficult for me to actually move around the windows right now because we are sharing this particular window. So let me just talk about it. So there is a lot of new money coming in. So Goldman Sachs has now actually confirmed that they're going to have some sort of trading desk and Bitcoin uh, positions. They're actually enabling big investors to invest in Bitcoin positions. So that is something I wanted to talk about. There's a lot of new money going to flow in. Now, as I said, there are a lot of new hedge funds in UK, which I hear they're coming up. Then there is a coin census. There is a big conference happening next week, which will potentially, this is like, there are like 6,000 participants, and many of them are big names in financial world. So we are expecting a lot more interest in near future. That is something which will impact overall prices. So what do I expect? I expect that the big coins, the top good quality coins, they will see a boost. I like Litecoin. They have been silent for some time. They had some problems because of the LightPay going really bad for them. They went with a third party player who turned out to be kind of a fraud, I can say. I mean, it was not a good experience for them, and I really pity them for trying to expand faster. But I still think that they're not a bad team. Litecoin can really build an ecosystem, and they have potential, and they have been lagging in this rally. And so I believe coins like Litecoin, coins like Ethereum is already seeing a lot of, like, I've been talking about Ethereum in my posts, and Ethereum has already got maybe 100% gains in last few days, while Bitcoin has only rallied 20 to 25%, or maybe 50% from lows. But I think Ethereum has recovered more than 100%. And the reason is, while there are a lot of new blockchains are coming, which are more interesting, Ethereum is the oldest blockchain and smart contract platform. And Ethereum is currently doing almost like thousands of dApps, which are already running on Ethereum. So they will keep seeing a lot of interest. There is a lot of scalability things happening on Ethereum. I talked about AION, which they did a conference earlier this week, and it was well participated. They are doing a lot of ways of scaling Ethereum. Ethereum itself is coming up with sharding and other key enhancements, which will, again, it's a matter of whether you like it. Technically, some people really like. I personally think EOS is still good, in the sense that how they are implementing scalability. But I think there will be challenges. It's still a new platform. Ethereum is a proven platform, so we cannot really just move them like they will be killed by EOS or Lisk or Cardano, or there are a lot of competition in this space. Like locally, if you see Icon, which is Korea's blockchain platform, Neo, which is China's blockchain platform. All these are open source platforms. All these are regionally very, very strong. Korea and Japan are actually very strong in how they are adopting blockchain. And even like when you look at literacy of people in crypto world, if you do surveys in Korea and Japan, you see 60 to 80% people have heard about Bitcoin and they are investing in it, or they understand blockchain. While if you go to like US and Europe and some other countries, we are seeing that it's only 10 to 20% penetration. So I would still believe that, again, another example is Australia, where there are a lot more people understand Bitcoin, and the adoption is much faster. So I would still pay attention to these local blockchains which are coming up. And so we will talk more about this in our group and near future. Please send me your questions if you have any. So I think these are the kind of things I wanted to talk about. But overall, coming back to the hedge funds, I think there will be a lot of interest. The top coins may move. I like some of these more than others. And that's where I think one thing you need to be very careful of is the new SEC laws. There's a lot of interest from SEC that we are hearing about Ripple. I always question Ripple. I think if you go back and search on the posts on our Facebook group, I have always questioned Ripple to be. I never liked the project. We have done some trading on it, but I think overall it is not something which is safe when SEC comes and go attacks them. It is not something which is a great decentralized project. They are still backed by central, like this for-profit company, I would say, which is trying to benefit from it. And then I think, but there are some others which are still a good effort in terms of the projects, and you should pay attention. A lot of money will flow into those. Don't take me wrong, like Ripple can also attract a lot of money and it can go up from here because it is still one of the top 5 coins. But I think I would try to keep invested in some quality coins. And there's another way we will talk about how you can play that very soon. Once we are really into the bull market, when we cross 10K, there are a lot of ways we can play this, and we will talk about this. So this is it from me right now. Let me quickly check if there are any questions coming from on our YouTube channel. So I don't see any more questions. So we'll call it a particular broadcast. Thanks for joining me. If you're watching a recorded channel, just join our YouTube channel, subscribe to us so that you can get quick updates and post some comments. And see you on our Facebook channel. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.